please hit that subscribe button. Hey everybody, better suited to win the Stanley Cup this season. If you are new to the channel, Washington Capitals, the Boston Bruins.
Locked on and he scored! And we're live. Hey everybody, so it's time for another episode of Hit or Miss here, where we look at NHL teams' first round draft picks from 2005 through 2015 and determine if each pick is a hit or a miss. Today, continuing along with the Atlantic Division, we will be talking about the Detroit Red Wings. So, Detroit first round picks from 2005 through 2015. Before we start, I just have to ask that you please hit that subscribe button if you're new, and give this video a thumbs up if you haven't already. It would be very greatly appreciated. It helps out the channel a lot. But let's get into it here. Starting in 2005, where Detroit picked 19th overall in the first round and took defenseman Jakob Kendall. Now, this one's kind of borderline, but I'm going to go ahead and call it a miss because he did not last very long in the NHL. He did play in the NHL, and he played for Detroit for a while, but he really, at the end of the day, did not last that long. He played 331 NHL games, scoring 16 goals, 58 assists for 74 points and a plus 14 rating. He was never more than a depth defenseman. He was a bottom pair guy when he was in the league, and he kind of flamed out and ended up out of the NHL rather quickly. So I'm going to go ahead and call that one a miss, as he did not fulfill the full career that he was expected to with Detroit. 2006, they did not have a first-round draft pick, so we move on to 2007, where they selected 27th overall and took defenseman Brendan Smith. Now, this one I'm going to call a hit. Brendan Smith has played 478 games in the NHL. He is still in the NHL now with the New York Rangers, and he's really adapted his game to just be a solid depth player. He's played defense. He's also played some time at forward for the Rangers. He's kind of had a rough go in the middle of his Rangers career, where he ended up actually getting sent down for a season to the AHL. But he came back up, played this past season with the New York Rangers in the NHL, and has really adapted his game to just become a really solid depth player that can play forward or defense and just help the team in any way possible. Like I said, he's played 478 games, scoring 24 goals, 76 assists for 100 points and a minus 15 rating. And he's still in the league. He's still with the Rangers. And he's just finding different ways to make himself useful. So for a very late first-round pick, we'll call that one a hit. 2008, they selected 30th overall. And with that pick, they took goaltender Thomas McCollum. And this one is a miss, as McCollum only ever appeared in 3 NHL games, going 1-0-0 with his record, with a 2.98 goals against average and an .879 save percentage. Obviously, he barely touched NHL ice, was hardly ever in there. We even got the decision in 1 NHL game. I would assume that the other 2, he just came in when the game was out of hand in a backup role. But, obviously not a lot of action at the NHL level, so certainly a miss there. 2009, they did not have a first-round pick, so we move on to 2010, where they selected 21st overall and took center Riley Sheahan. This one is a hit, as Sheahan has gone on to be a very, very productive and good depth player in the NHL for Detroit, for other teams as well. He's played for Pittsburgh. He's played for Edmonton. I'm sure he's probably played elsewhere that I just am not thinking of right now. But Sheahan has had a very solid NHL career as a depth forward. 513 games played, 66 goals, 98 assists, 164 points, and a minus 50 rating. Over 500 games played for a late first-round draft pick. That is absolutely a hit. And he's still in the league, still playing that third, fourth line center role, and he's a very, very productive player in that role, so that one's certainly a hit. 2011 and 2012, they did not have first-round picks, so we move on to 2013, where they selected 20th overall and took right wing Anthony Mantha. And this one, when he's healthy, certainly is a hit, as Mantha is a big-time goal scorer for Detroit. He's played 260 games in the NHL, scoring 84 goals, 89 assists for 173 points and a minus 12 rating. Obviously, 260 games played. You wish that was more. He's missed significant time over the past few seasons with injuries, but when he's healthy, he's an extremely productive player for Detroit and a very good power forward goal scorer for them. So the pick itself is definitely a hit. Mantha's a really good young player. I just really like to see him play a full season and stay healthy. 2014, they selected 15th overall, where they took center Dylan Larkin. This one is absolutely a hit. Larkin is the best player currently on the Detroit Red Wings. He's absolutely a star for them. Obviously, the team isn't very good, but Larkin is absolutely a star for them. 389 games played, 107 goals, 159 assists for 266 points, and a -53 rating. Detroit needs to build a good team around Dylan Larkin. When Detroit is good again, and Larkin has a good team around him, he is going to burst into superstar level in this league. He's an extremely good player, great skater, very, very talented, brings some attitude to the game as well. I think he's got captain written all over him for Detroit. He'll even drop the gloves if a few times a year, and will stick up for his teammates. He's a leader. He's a very talented player. He's the best player on the team. And Detroit needs to build around this guy, and they can build themselves back into a powerhouse team if they do it right. And finally, 2015, they selected 19th overall, where they took left wing Alexey Svechnikov. And this one is a miss, as Svechnikov has only played 20 games to this point in his NHL career, scoring 2 goals, 2 assists for 4 points and a -3 rating. He has not yet been able to make the jump from AHL to NHL, and that is a problem. Now, obviously, he's still young and still, is developing and could potentially in the future make that jump. And if he does make that jump, then this will easily change to a hit. But right now, with only 20 games played, this is a miss. He was drafted 5 years ago. He was supposed to be, ready by now, at least be an NHL level player by now. And that's not the case. He's still down in the AHL and not regularly playing at the NHL level. So certainly, at least for now, Svechnikov is a miss for Detroit. But there we have it, guys. The Detroit Red Wings first-round picks from 2005 to 2015. Obviously, we saw some big hits in here. Mantha's turned out good. Larkin, a lot of years that they didn't have picks, obviously, because they were a good team for the first portion of this time span. And then, obviously, recently things have gone really downhill for Detroit to where they're now the worst team in the league. But it's rebuild time for the Red Wings, and as we get moving forward, we're going to see that rebuild kind of come to fruition, and hopefully they do it right, and hopefully they're able to, get back to being a playoff level and Stanley Cup level contending team. But with that, guys, like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. All those links are down in the description below. If you'd like to further support the channel, the links to my Patreon and merchandise store are down in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.